Okay.
Yeah. Hello, football family. Welcome into Huddle It Up Films, episode 21. Not sure if y'all got to witness that first 7 minutes here, that first 7 minutes. Little technical difficulties, not showing anybody in the room right now. So, man, I blew it, fellas. They missed some good stuff. Yeah,
So good.
Oh,
Jeff J, Brandon DeShields, we was just talking. Bring it on. We are in here now. All right, people are popping in. Fellas,
okay.
ladies,
Yeah.
so sorry about that. Yeah, there's a little button that says go live that somebody's supposed to hit.
I think it was my fault. Sorry, everyone.
That's a
My
teammate
bad.
right there.
My
That's a
bad.
teammate right there. So Jamil, man, they missed a good 7-8 minutes right there, brother.
Yeah,
Um,
we did, man. But it's okay. We're gonna bounce back from it. We're gonna make another. We're gonna add an extra 7 minutes just to make up
Yeah.
for that loss. You know what I'm saying? I think we should just do that, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
We
but
might
at
have
least
fumbled in the red zone, but we got another drive and we're gonna make sure we capitalize next time.
yeah, man. I did an Anthony Brown, bro. I got strip sack in my own end zone and they fell on it. That was terrible. That was terrible. That was terrible. So yeah, Brandon DeShields. We was just talking about you, Brandon. Bring it on. I'm with you, bro. I want to just recap, man. Uh the mood's a little spicy around here among all three of us, man. Was just talking about it. There's something about being on the road, in an opposing gym, in an opposing football field, and we see it on TV. You make a big hit, and the whole air goes out of the crowd, and you hear the opposing sidelines. All you can hear yapping, yelling, man. I told one story. I'll tell you guys another story since this one's new. I remember going out. We were wrestling Randallstown, and both of us were undefeated late in the season. So this was basically for the championship. And in the gym, you can hear everything, and there was all kinds of stuff being said from the parents and all this other stuff. And my buddy Eric is in here. If you're in here, you can vouch for me. Um, we ended up losing, but when I wrestled, the guy I wrestled, I'm kind of thinly built. So everybody I wrestled came up to like here on me and was all rocked up. So this kid looked like little mini Mike Tyson out there, and I put him on his back in the first period and couldn't finish him, man. Like the kid was just too strong. And I remember before the match, coach was like, "We're gonna need you. We're gonna need 6 points out of you. We're gonna need a pin because this match, it's gonna be tough. We need every point." And put him on back again, pinned him. Heard everybody go, "Oh!" and then looked over, and my bench was jumping up and down, and gave him a little celebration and stuff. There's nothing better than taking the wind out of the opposing fans' sails. And that's what I really want to see this weekend. My expectations without Lamar, I don't care. I want to beat them up and I want to end their season. Not a big fan of the Bengals right now.
And hey, look, I understand why, man. None of us should be big fans of the Bengals right now at this point. We can wait till the all season for that. And I agree with you, man, because I have a similar situation when I played semi-pro football. We played this team called the Annapolis Thunder. I was playing a team called the Annapolis Thunder when I played semi-pro. I played for the DMV Jaguars. I was at corner, and they thought, like I was a new corner. They thought like we can test this guy to see what he's about. They were driving down the field. They threw a pass, interception, ran it all the way back for a touchdown.
You
So,
did.
everybody's like they cheering, right? And this is at their stadium, and then their fans are like talking trash on the sideline. Yeah, we're gonna get you next time. We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you. So drop back, throw the ball in the air. I look up, another interception. So I know all about taking the confidence and crushing it for for a home stadium, man. I know all about that.
Alec, what do you know about that? And you know what? I think we all felt being an underdog, man. We all accomplished it. Before we went on, man, Jamil just said, man, he got a row home first time in his life. He is the man of the row home with his lovely wife and children out there. Alec, we've all been underdogs, bro. Like, there's something about it. Like, if things don't go our way Sunday, everybody expects that to be the way it is. Oh, you guys might be on your second, third string quarterback, and you lost to a team. What's Bengals won like 8 in a row? Nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to bat an eye. But if we beat them and end their season in their stadium, that would be pretty damn sweet, Alec.
I think regardless of how the Ravens managed to win this game, the whole like AFC we put on notice, and the NFC too, to respect. But like, I think I think everyone in the AFC, if I had to guess, of the wild card teams that they want eliminated, they're looking for us to get eliminated because we definitely are the scariest and have the most upside, I think, of any wild card team in the whole dance, so to speak. And that's, even without Lamar, we have that upside. You get Lamar in there, then that's even better, right? But man, you watch that film from last week, you look at it and you're like, that game was kind of close. Now, obviously, we're holding things back. They were holding things back. But that we could have almost won that game. There could have been a coin flip, like it's kind of crazy how close it was. It was a couple, high leverage plays as many close football games are. And you think about this defense, you think about the playmakers, even the offense. You think about guys like J.K. Dobbins and Mark Andrews who weren't part of the first contest. They can make those big plays. They can make the ball bounce your way. That's why you want studs. You want playmakers. So I'm excited, man. They can't hurt me no more. All they can do is make me happy, and that's a good thing. And I'm just hyped, man.
Nice. Hey, we got some more comments to get to before we jump in. Brandon, I see your question up there. We will get into that. Yeah, Jeff J. Hey, let's get the party started. A lot to talk about, no doubt. And yeah, we do better in hostile environments away from home. Remember all those New England showdowns? Man, you're right. We, the pretty boy Patriots and, Bill Belichick and all the cheating, and we would go in there and smack those guys in the mouth, win or lose. That's the kind of day we need. Alan F. saying hi. Alan also says, where is it? Hey, Alec, it's Frank from the Discord.
Yeah, man. From the All 22 Films Discord. It's a great Discord. Highly recommend it for people. Just incredible football minds. I've learned so much just like being a fly on the wall and reading those messages, man.
Yeah, you know what? I'm in there too. I don't, I don't brag about it like Alec Jamil, but Coach DC, all 22 films. Y'all know how I feel about Coach DC. He's got his own Discord. Y'all are interested. I think it's for his members or something like that. Don't let me put false information out there. You get in there, you talk ball with Coach C and his crew. We also have the lovely Kim S. Hey, everyone, now that we're finally in. Yeah, thanks a lot, Kim S. Appreciate the kind words. Sometimes your lovely host over here forgets to hit the go live button and has a conversation and wastes Alec and Jamil's time. Always have time for me. And we have the man himself, Howdy. Sup, partner? Howdy, cowboy. Jamil, what kind of cowboy terms do you have?
Howdy. I reckon. Is that okay? I reckon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alec?
That's all I could give you, man.
I don't know, you got what, like the watering hole? What else? I don't know.
Yeehaw.
Yeehaw. Yeah.
Yeehaw. Oh, okay. Yeah. I can't believe I forgot that one. That's crazy.
Raven 76, be more salute. So Brandon asked about this defense and can we shut the Bengals out? Mentioning, we rested Peter. Campbell, I played last week, but Ojabo getting his feet wet. His key for the matchup is the $70 million man, Marcus Williams, calling 2 picks and a defense scores a touchdown. Oh, Brandon, from your lips to the football god's ears. Marcus Williams does a lot that you don't see on TV. He's taking away a lot of reads. He's covering tight ends sometimes. They rotate him and Chuck a lot. But when it comes to brass tacks and somebody screaming down the sideline, Marcus Williams is always lurking. Great pickup for the Ravens. Geno Stone did a really nice job. But, if I'm being completely honest with everybody out there, when you look at the side-to-side speed, quickness, the movement of Marcus Williams, he is really, really fluid. Like Geno's really good downhill. Marcus Williams will come downhill and smack you, man. He's got that like sideline to sideline type range that's so rare to find in the NFL.
And that's why we brought him in. We were lacking that since Earl Thomas in 2019, even though he was kind of like a shell of himself, it was the fear of him just being back there. So we kind of missed that. So when we brought in Marcus Williams in his prime, and he didn't miss a beat, man. He's a tremendous safety in the NFL. Really good sideline to sideline, like you said. He's a ball hawk. He has a knack for getting his hands on the football. For me, he's one of my favorite players on the defense currently, and I do think he takes a lot away from offenses that like to attack down the field, especially when we're clicking on all cylinders with communication. I think early on we struggled with some of that stuff, but as of lately in the season, we haven't really been giving up too many big plays, and I think he plays a big part and our defense not allowing a lot of explosive plays down the field.
Agree, Alec. I see him a lot of times. The Ravens will, especially on the left side, on Marcus's side of the defense, they'll play a leverage. You know what I mean? Marcus will take away the sideline and bracket them back inside. And Marcus Williams is right there, and you can just see him just kind of like, scooting over a little bit. And man, my bad back's working against me. Just kind of scooting over a little bit and waiting for him. And the quarterback sees that, and he's, it doesn't go down on the stat sheet, Alec, but it's plays avoided, like Jameel was saying.
Correct. And that's the thing that's so, I think, cool and new, so to speak, about the defense this year, is that we have these playmakers up the spine with Williams and Roquan Smith that really changed the game from a coverage perspective. We're just so confident they'll be doing their jobs correctly and to an extent that like the average player just can't do. And that just changes the way that you have to play against them and the way that we can scheme as well. So I think it's been an excellent addition. And, he's been a little quiet since coming back from injury from a stats perspective. He's not getting the INTs every game, but just means he's due, So we'll see how it goes. But I think I definitely think he's going to be a key to the game.
There you go. Hey, our friend Black Daniels in the house. How you doing, sir? By the way, know you're on Twitter. This Friday at 7:30, scheduled tentative plans. Going to have Ashley back on the show. Really looking forward to that. These guys hopefully will be with me. But Black Daniels, I want to get you. I want to get Yolanda. I would like to get Don. I would like to get anybody, Shrimp Trawler, anybody that would like to do that. If you get a hold of me on Twitter, I know it's you, like you Black Daniels, and I know it's you. I will send you the link to have you in here. You don't have to show your face or get on fancy camera. We can just have your voice too. So it's what up to you is what's comfortable. But I'm definitely going to be sending you guys a DM this week. So check your DMs on that. But yeah, Alec, absolutely on Marcus Williams. Well said. It's funny with Jamar Chase we were talking about before we went live. Somebody mentioned it here. I'm going to try to bring this up about doubling Chase. It is Brandon. I do not want to be chasing Chase. Double him, period. Hit T. Higgins every chance. Crush Mixons. Let the linebackers handle Hurst. Hopefully Boyd doesn't do anything. You know what, Brandon? I'm gonna go kind of against the grain. I think Marlon Humphrey's done a really good job on Chase. What he only had 50 yards on 7 catches in the first matchup. He went for looks like 8 for 86 last week. So you're talking about 15 catches, but only 136 yards in 2 games this year. Marlon's done really well. Kyle on Tyler Boyd, Kyle on those tight ends, Hayden Hurst. That's the one thing I think why the Bengals have struggled to score, Jameel, is our secondary is really nice when it's communicating together, especially since Roquan's been there and kind of solidified the middle of that thing and taken away the screen so well. Like if we're on our game and Marcus Peters is out there on his game, we're a tough DB group compared to most of the league. I think people forget that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree. I think with MP back, because he's back practicing, so obviously he's going to play Sunday. I think that allows you have someone solidified on each side. You have Marlowe on one side, you have MP on another, and then you have Kyle Hamilton at that nickel spot, being aggressive as he is, blitzing, covering wide receivers, getting his hands on guys at the line of scrimmage, tackling, just sniffing out screens and stuff like that. So Kyle has done a really good job at the nickel spot. Whereas, like we say, Marlon Humphrey had a tremendous bounce back season, where you could make an argument that he may have should have made the All Pro team, first team All Pro. He may get the second team All Pro, but you can make an argument that he should have gotten first team All Pro this season. Having allowed a single touchdown in man coverage all year in over 600 snaps, he hasn't allowed a single touchdown all season. So Marlowe has played extremely well this year, like All Pro. Probably this may have been his best football season since he's been a Baltimore Raven.
Better Marlon Humphrey this year or Jameel semi-pro?
That's a good one, man. I'm gonna have to go with Marlon Humphrey, man. Marlowe is my guy. He definitely turned up this year, man. I'm gonna go with Marlon Humphrey.
All right, there you go. So yeah, Alec, covering these guys, man. You gonna keep a little extra spy action on Mr. Chase over there? Or you gonna let Marcus Williams do his thing in the back and just kind of roam where he wants to roam around the world, as the B-52s once said.
I think that you got a piece like Marlon Humphrey. He gives you that flexibility. Just say, all right, he's all yours. Take away Chase. I think that you can take away T. Higgins with Peters, Stevens, whoever. I think it can just work. I think that's the beautiful thing about our defense. We are built to beat this team. Like, don't get it twisted. They're not trying to beat Cleveland. They're not trying to beat the Steelers. I mean, they are, but their number one goal is to beat the Bengals, and they've done it. I mean, by getting that safety, getting that linebacker, having the corners they have, I think they can stop them. And we're equipped with the right people. It just all comes down to execution. There was a couple plays last week, man. They were just a step away from picking off the ball. Like, they seemed they were trying to bait them into something. They fell for the bait. And if we were just a little bit quicker to the draw, man, we would have had something. So we'll see how they adjust. We'll adjust to their adjustments, and and I'm just hopeful. We get one or two of those big plays to bounce our way. You got to lean on your playmakers in the playoffs. We may be able to steal this one from them.
No, dude, I love what you just said. In fact, I'm just going to back it up. It's very true. This Bengals team, I look, they're 29th in rush yards. They're 29th in rushing, like yards per carry. And then they're near the top at all the passing numbers. And then you look at the way our defense is constructed with all that money, all that resources into the secondary, including Kyle Hamilton, who kind of just fell into our lap. But still, we got some players in the secondary. And then, you just look at it, that's not defending the Steelers. That's definitely not defending the Browns. That's a tactic to defend Joe Burrow. And, if you look at Kansas City and Buffalo and those kind of teams, to stop them through the air. So doing it and not getting help, without getting much help from your offense, you're really asking for a lot. I mean, let's face it, you go in that stadium with Tyler Huntley or Anthony Brown, and then, again, we're going to be touchdown underdog. Probably that number is probably going to go up and up and up if Lamar doesn't practice. We might be close to double digits, but we have slowed them down. If you look, Jameel, at like Joe Burrow's, the advanced stats, especially, he's got all these positive games and all this bar graph and all these positive games. Then when it comes to like his EPA against the Ravens, it's in the negative, bro. Our cover two and Jeff J are throwing in here. McDonald got to dial up some timely blitzes. We hit Joe Burrow. We hit those receivers. We knocked T. Higgins out the game. We play a physical brand of football that apparently Cincinnati doesn't like. They're doing a lot of yapping about it, man.
Yeah, I agree. I think the timely blitzes are I was looking at that comment. I think that's going to be very pivotal for this week. And I think actually when you get there, you actually got to get them to the ground. I think we missed a lot of opportunities last week to get Burrow on the ground. I think that is going to be the game changer with, shaking him up a little bit, because Joe Burrow, man, he's crafty in that pocket, man. He can evade, pressure. But we got a lot of pressure on him, like a lot. And I do think it's going to be the same thing this Sunday. I don't think it's going to change. I think with his offensive line taking the hits that they've taken, with La'el Collins being out for the season, and they already was kind of, weak in other spots. So I just think, it's just going to be the same thing. I just feel like once we get there, we have to get them down, blitzing, however we create the pressure, you got to get them on the ground.
Our buddy Shrimp Trawler's in here catching up on all the wonderful comments. They think we talk some trash on Sunday. Wait till Juice Man gets in there, Alec. Yeah, you got to have thick skin in football. They trying to bait you. It's funny, Frank, Alan F., love you, brother. Thanks for being in here. This is a throwback Ravens team. It's amazing, Alec, with adding a Roquan Smith and just putting him on top. Remember, Ravens don't have enough dogs, man. This team, we don't see enough dogs. All of a sudden, you add Roquan, and it's full of bleeping dogs. Like, it just looks like a different unit.
He's a character, man. I really like him. We've been nicknaming him Terminator Row. And the guy he's like a cyborg out there, man. He plays so well. He tackles hard. He just, I love when he was talking to his pressers lately, these faceless, nameless opponents, is the game getting chippy? Yeah, we'll see you on Sunday. The guy is ready to take some heads off. Like, I feel like if he played 20 years ago, he would have been taking heads off, like the rules have constricted him somewhat, but the guy still brings that intensity, that just swagger. And he just, when you know, like, you're one of the best to play in the league, you can kind of bring that, as long as you're playing at a high level, you just make them know that your presence is there. And I think, man, you get MP Juice Man added into the action. I think we could get in their heads. I could see some penalties. Like if I could take the over under on personal foul penalties or any of those kind of penalties, I would take it, because I think both sides might get the skins underneath, and for sure we will.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to take long for the chippiness to set in.
First play. I mean, like, they're going to set a tone right away, man. Like,
yeah. This might be one of the ones that if we kick off, you don't kick it through the end zone. You just let them return it, and just because when you tackle the kickoff guy, it usually doesn't end well, and there's usually a lot of celebration. Let's bring it on, man. Jamil, would you dare kick it to them in their own stadium?
Yeah, I would. I would surely kick it to him, and I would put Roquan Smith on the kickoff team. Just kidding. But yeah, I would.
All right. So, hey, we had a couple of people that want the blitz, but Jeremiah, opposing view. Now, I like this too. Don't blitz a lot. Just lane discipline and pocket crush, because Burrow does want to get out in that pocket, man. He does want to roll out, make plays. He's very comfortable with that. Not a mobile quarterback. He's not going to kill you with rushing yards usually, but he likes to move around, keep his eyes downfield, and make plays. Jamil, you brought it up earlier. I'm looking at that right side of their line. They lost their right tackle 2 weeks ago. This past week, their right guard goes out. Doesn't look like he's going to play. If you read between the lines, he was hurt pretty good. You're talking about 2 new guys on the right side of their line. And we got guys like Matabike, who's played out of his mind most of the year. We got Justin Houston, Ajabo, cut up of Ajabo available on the channel. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. The guy is a natural pass rusher. There's some natural skills there to be on tap. Man, we could probably rush 4 a lot, drop some dudes into some passing lanes back there, and make it tough on Joe Burrow. Maybe get a tip pass and just compress that pocket like Jeremiah is talking about.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Jeremiah. I don't think we have to blitz a lot with how much their line struggles and struggled last week. I think there were times where we did rush 4, we was getting there. It was a couple of times that I seen personally Adafe away pushing the right tackle into Joe Burrow's lap, and he's just stepping up, trying to avoid, like I said, his pocket awareness is really good. So like Jeremiah said, we have to kind of condense that pocket a little bit, try to, get more pressure up the middle to, take away those stepping up, those lanes for him to step up, try to take that middle away. That way the edge guys can get there a little easier. Kind of like when Ajabo was able to get that strip sack. He couldn't step up. He had to, kind of run around, and then Ajabo just worked around and got the strip sack.
Exactly. So, Alec, I got something for you. Got a few comments in here on Worley. Alan F. Frank, thanks again, man. Worley looked like a different dude on Sunday. He's been looking very springy. Even on the play Chase scored, he looked like he almost had it. Yeah, and he did that. Damn, I almost had it. Worley's getting some more love out here, Alec. Raven 76. Hopefully he played himself onto a starting position in this team if we don't keep Peters. Man, if not a starter, just, a piece on this team, even if you draft somebody high. It would be nice to have, the more corners you have, the better, because he did look pretty good. Black Daniels noticed, Worley flashing for sure. Brought his boomstick with him. He did. He laid the wood a couple of times, man. He laid the wood a couple of times too. Big pass deflection in the end zone. Shout out to Darryl Worley. He was a good player, I thought, at one time for Chicago. And, it's a brutal league, Alec. It don't take long to get lost, man. That's a guy who definitely could emerge for a player for us, if not this game and then the rest of the season the next year.
Yeah, man. I think that's all really good points. I was pleasantly surprised by how Worley played. And I think, he might have just played himself into another opportunity, with this team, another team, for instance. And, it kind of just reminds me of the conversation I had at the beginning of the season with one of the Ravens photographers. He gets to watch these guys practice day in and day out. He's always there. And he's like, he would be surprised how much talent there is on the edges of the roster, and how it's so minuscule sometimes who gets cut and who gets to stay. Sometimes it's just the personalities to try, like, just like who's getting the best fit with the scheme, etc. So there's a lot of talent out there, and these guys that are on the fringe, they can, if they start understanding things better, or they start, just they get more in tune with the position, whatever it might be, you can see them like raise up the ranks pretty quickly, because it just shows how much talent there really is in the league. You talk about these players, oh, you're calling up these, what is it called, DoorDash corners. Well, it's just because the really good players are really, really good. And like, they even make guys that are awesome look bad sometimes. So, it's just that game, slight edges that really can make all the difference.
Love Coach DC. Coach, if you weren't in here earlier, and if I was slow in the comments, mention your Discord, brother. So might be some new people coming your way. Hopefully, great time in Coach DC's Discord, putting out all that comment. Not only in the Ravens, he's dipping into like the rookies, the other teams. Love all of the things that you do for us, Coach DC. Always happy to help. We want to look forward to some projects, commingling. Hopefully, Coach DC can stop in on Friday if he's not busy. Coach DC loves to go to the club, is what I heard. He likes to shake his booty on Friday night. So not sure if Coach DC will be able to make it. Man, that's kind of tough. Might be iffy.
Oh man,
you're too much, dude.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's all made up. All made up, of course. Anand in the building. What is up, Anand? If you can come stop through on Friday, man. Ashley's going to be back, and we're going to have some fun on Friday night. 7:30, I'm playing it. Find me on Twitter. Evening, everyone. Seems like 3 wide receiver sets from teams like Cincy and Buffalo, and our injuries. Worley will have a role even if we keep Peters. Yeah, man, you can never have enough good corners, which is Ozzie Newsome saying. It's funny, Jamil. I was thinking about this week. You can never have enough pass rushers, right? You can never have enough corners. What happened to, why don't the Ravens have like you can never have enough wide receivers and enough offensive tackles? Like, you can't never have enough corners. That would make me think that you can never have enough wide receivers, right?
I agree. I think if you apply that motto to the offense, then we wouldn't be, a lot of fans wouldn't be so disgruntled. I think. So I agree with you. And
just something I noticed. I noticed.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. And another thing about Durr Worley, I just wanted to speak on that. Yeah, I think he played a really good game. Kind of reminded me of Brandon Browner. That's the corner used to play in Seattle. He was giving those vibes when we played the Bengals, like with his tackling and his aggressiveness. But yeah, like you said, Jason, I think we need to take that motto of you can't have enough corners and apply it to the offense, and just go out there, just keep signing those receivers. Every time they, one is let go, just sign them, trade for them. I don't care how you do it.
This is the truth. You can never have enough anything. One of the things I love about the Ravens, Alec, is we do have depth. It seems like we have depth everywhere, every year, except for one spot where we're completely barren. So hopefully EDC can clean that up a little bit, because, man, it's going to be tough. Even with Lamar back, not healthy, if he is able to come back, it's still going to be a tall task to ask him to stand in there as a pocket passer. And, when there's not too many people open, you have to rely on Andrews, maybe Likely and Kolar and some of these other guys. Playoff Sammy, it would be nice. You know what? I want to talk about Roquan Smith some more. We talked a lot about the defense. Before we get into the Cincinnati game, have to mention Roquan, highest paid linebacker, 5 years, 100 mil, not a mil, 100 mil, 20 mil a year, negotiated the contract himself without an agent. That's something everybody wants to talk about, because obviously it goes back to Lamar. Great move, in my opinion. I saw people already complaining about it. Well, why can't we pay a wide receiver and stuff like that? Same as like I saw on other programs when we traded for Roquan. Well, we didn't trade for it's like, can you just enjoy for a second the fact that Roquan Smith will be on this team kicking what for the next 5 years, Jamil? Feels good. Like, our whole demeanor, our whole just attitude on this defense got better. Rush defense, pass defense, the whole thing once we got Roquan.
Yeah, man, when you add a player like that, an all-pro, easily a top 3 inside linebacker in the NFL, you have to appreciate it, man. That's all I say. For what it's worth, just try to appreciate it and find the bright spot in us, getting him signed up long term. He solidifies the middle of our defense for sure. So I I was happy when we traded for him. I was happy when we were able to get a deal done. So I don't have any negative things to say about us, because just think about if we didn't get a deal done, we just wasted a draft pick and we didn't even sign this guy long term. We just traded away just for a rental. That doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, yeah. And Jeremiah, funny enough, got blocked by a certain linebacker on Twitter, not named Roquan Smith, because I had this thing that said RIP, hole at the mic position. And it had from the date CJ Mosley signed with the Jets to the date that we traded for Roquan. Return of the mic, man. You're talking about a three down linebacker. Again, he is in the right spot and he gets there. And it's funny, man. Like, he knows what's coming, man. Alec, I don't know if you noticed, there was a couple of times on film that Steelers game where PQ was telling him to scoot over. Guess what? The ball went the other way. I'm like, man, just let Roquan. This is Roquan's defense now, Alec. Let him call out where it's going to go and get there in a bad mood.
Yeah, man. Calais Campbell said that he's been wrong once in an interview a couple weeks back. Like Roquan, when he calls things out, he's a prophet, or he just makes it. He makes it happen himself. So it's really like something we've been lacking. There's a lot of chatter about how this is just like the legacy of the Ravens. You got a guy like Ray Lewis, who is known not just for his attitude, but his film study and his preparation, his ability to make sure the defense was lined up right and just make the plays. I mean, we're just seeing all that same kind of stuff out of Roquan. And you think about just the character he's been off the field too, with doing all these charity events. Just been apparently very nice to everybody in the castle. Wanted to make sure everyone knew his name and knew their name as well. And I think that just is the kind of guy you want on a team, man. When you're paying these top guys, you're looking for playmakers and you're looking for leaders. You got both of them from him. And the other thing too, I know it's a devalued position. I totally understand. I get it 1,000%. But the thing is, man, no one's complaining really about us having just paying him a premium, right? We pay him a little bit extra because he's the best to ever do it. And he is a weapon to us, right? We are able to use him in certain ways. And I feel like that's kind of how you have to look at Roquan for a bit here. Like maybe he's not in the most valuable position. Maybe you can platoon it. I totally respect that. But you're getting a guy who raises the level of everyone else around him. And I honestly think impacts the cornerbacks, which is a primo position, because of how good he's covering. Because how many times have we seen our corners playing it right, but the linebacker was in the right spot and there was a throwing lane, right? So everything synergizes in football. That's why it's such a beautiful sport. So you get a guy like this, it's going to be a good thing for the defense.
Yeah, Jameel, the best players affect everybody. And, the other thing that I keep seeing, that I think is my main points is two things, Jameel. One, you got a 3-down linebacker. You can play fewer people in the box. You don't need to. It gives you an extra corner on the field, which helps or a safety on the field, which helps your pass defense. And then the second thing, Jameel, I mean, you play, bro. There's certain plays that you can call on 3rd and 5 that you can't call on 3rd and 8, that you can't call on 3rd and 9 because you need 8 yards. You need 9 yards instead of 5. That's stopping power. Those instincts that Roquan has that other linebackers in the league. Then all of a sudden, okay, well, he's, in passing downs, a run stuffer doesn't do you any good. Oh, yes, it does, because it's 3rd and 9 instead of 3rd and 5 with most linebackers. So, and then my third thought is when you got an all-pro, somebody of that caliber at any position, that is a difference maker. He makes it a premium position. Would you rather have Roquan or would you rather have the 30th best corner in the league? The 10th best corner in the league? They might go for the same price. It's equal impact, if you get what I'm saying, Jameel.
Yeah, I do. I would rather have Roquan than just to go get any receiver just
Christian
because,
Kirk.
a lot of people like, man, go get a receiver. And it's like they just go get somebody. I would rather have Roquan than just going to get somebody. You know what I'm saying? He has that much impact on the team. And football is not just about one side of the ball too. What the defense does could affect the offense just like what the offense does affects the defense. It's all synchronized. You can't just say, oh, we just got to put all of our attention here and just forget about this side, So that's just how I feel about it, man. I love Roquan Smith. He's a great player. you can't have too many great players, man. You know, I'm not going to complain about having a great player on my team. It's just it doesn't make sense to me.
So what about this Sunday, Alec? What about this Sunday night? What are your thoughts on Lamar Jackson? You know what? I got some video here. We're gonna go ahead and play it before we get to you, Alec. This is Jim Trotter. If you don't know Jim, why Jim tweeted out a picture of himself with his eyes like that, I'm not quite sure. Jim, get a better screenshot next time, all right? But yeah, Jim tweeted out. He was asked about the Ravens quarterback Lamar Jackson. He gave his thoughts. This was retweeted, as you can see at the top, by Lamar Jackson himself. And what Jim says in this video is a lot of how I feel and how I expressed how I felt about Lamar Jackson. So I'm going to let Jim state what he has to say and just say beforehand, this is something that I agree with.
Oh, let me take, excuse me, the contract situation off the table for a minute. 2 weeks ago, I was at a game and a player unsolicited came up to me and asked me about Lamar. And he said to me, I sprained my PCL in week 1. He said, I'm still not right. He said, I came back only because our team is in the playoff hunt. He said, if Lamar has a grade 2 sprain, PCL sprain, he said, even if he gets back on the field for the playoffs, he is not going to be the same Lamar that we know. So from that standpoint, I think you could see I shouldn't say frustration, but you could see where John Harbaugh was on this, that there's really not a lot you can do physically if he is not ready. And clearly, physically, he is not ready. So I hate to hear the contract situation brought into this, because if you know Lamar, that's not what he's about in terms of he wants to be there for his guys. I remember going back to the day after the draft and saying to Lamar, if you have a chance for the Hall of Fame, a gold jacket, or a Super Bowl trophy, which would you take? And without hesitation, he said a Super Bowl Vince Lombardi trophy. Why? Because that means he has done something special for him and his teammates. So he is not that individual egotistical guy. I don't believe this is about contract. I believe this is truly about his health and him wanting to be right so that he can perform for his teammates.
So right or wrong, that's what Jim Trotter says. And, you know, it made me feel good hearing this, Alec, because that's how I view Lamar. Just reading between the lines, the ultimate competitor. Look, if he's hurt, he's hurt. You know, PCL sprain, the sprains are different. A sprain means there's a tear in there somewhere that they're probably eventually going to have to fix if it doesn't heal on his own. And the word we keep hearing over and over again, Alec, is swelling. He works on it, it swells. He works on it, it swells. He gets, you know, and he's got to go back for treatment. It hasn't improved. If that thing is swelling, it's probably going to need to get fixed after the season.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a lock, guarantee it. I think it's just so frustrating that the national narrative has gotten to this point about this contract, because, you know, a lot of things have gotten a little out of control when talking about Lamar Jackson with, like, I guess, like the national coverage. Everything gets, you know, oh, he gets hurt all the time because he runs the ball, and it's like, did you even watch the plays? Like, do you even watch football, guys? Like, you're a professional, like, person to talk about sports. So I feel like you don't actually watch the sport. And, you know, I've talked to some coworkers about that are fans of other teams, and they, you know, they just don't follow the Ravens beat. And they're like, you know, is this about contract? What do you think? And I'm like, no, like, you know, anything about Lamar, you know, he's working hard. And every little, like, squeak of information any of us have heard is the guy's trying to come back. He's working as hard as he can. He's trying to do anything he can. Cause, like, that's the other thing kills me too, is like, he hasn't practiced in, you know, a month and a half. And it's like, well, I'm pretty sure he's thrown a football, right? I'm pretty sure he's moved and, like, done things. Like what is practice, right? You know, like, he's Lamar Jackson. I think he knows the offense. I think he's good. But, like, yes, he hasn't done walkthroughs and he hasn't done installs. Sure, I could completely believe that. But, like, I think he's available and on board. And I just think it's crazy to think that he's not going to come back for the contract, because he's just not right. And I just hope that they find a way that, I don't care if he's just a pocket passer. I think he raises the level of our team. So if there's any way that he can just, you know, take some snaps and throw balls and put weight on that foot just enough to, like, you know, get the proper zip, man, if it's not going to hurt him, I hope that he can suit up. And I think he would try to do too. I was so confident going into this week, honestly, until the recent reports, that he was going to play. Like, I was thinking, you know, if he can't hurt himself more and it's just a level of effort thing, like, I think he would give it a go. I'd rather have him as our second quarterback and then have to fall back on somebody else or even have 3 activated for something, then like not give him a go if he's at all capable. But I guess we'll see, man. It's only Wednesday. He could have been resting today and he'll play, maybe he's limited on Thursday and then out Friday kind of thing. I don't know. I wouldn't think anything of any of it, to be frank. I wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't practice all week and then he shoots up on Sunday. Like I could see that path as well. I think it's a unique situation.
Jamil, what say you, man?
For me, with the Lamar situation, I just think anytime his name is brought up, it's national news. It's all breaking news. It's it clicks. People are just going to use his name for something. It got a little slow for everybody. They needed something to talk about, and who better than Lamar Jackson? I think him retweeting that video says a lot. It speaks volumes to a lot of people who thought and assumed that he was playing hardball with, I can maybe go out there and play, but I'm not because of my contract situation. The Jim Trotter clearly stated that he doesn't think that has anything to do with it. So if Lamar is listening to this video and he hears that segment of the video, why would he retweet it if he disagreed? So that's obviously telling you that it has nothing to do with contract. I'm hurt. I cannot play. I cannot play to my full capability that will help this team win. We all seen what happened to Robert Griffin III when Haloti Ngata almost snapped his leg in half. He tried to come back. He had a sprain, something going on in his knee. He had a sprain, and he ended up fully tearing it in a game with a brace on. We all remember what happened. We would hate for that to have to happen to our quarterback. Then we have an even bigger problem. So why not just, if he's not ready, he's just not ready. It's just that simple.
Alex said something too. It really wouldn't surprise me if he does, like, maybe gets into practice on Friday and plays or something that nobody sees coming, because ultimately it's up to the athlete. The doctors can try to hold him back a little bit. Harbaugh, is going to have to make the final call, but it's going to be hard. Like, in my opinion, I feel like Lamar wants to be out there in the playoff game. I think that people tend to not be able to understand people that don't think like them. And I'm not Lamar. I'm not friends with him. Talk to him or whatever. But there's some people that will be like, look, man, I ain't got that contract. I ain't playing. That's fine. I understand people, would feel that way and would think Lamar thinks like them. There are other people that look at these other 52, 53 guys in the room who know that if they go out there with Lamar, that they have a much better chance of gaining success together. And some guys are willing to do things that other people would not do to go try to win that damn game. So, all this speculating on Lamar's just lazy, or Lamar does this, or I wouldn't play because I don't have the money, or all this stuff that's being said about Lamar. Look, you're not Lamar. Lamar is his own man. He's the only one that knows what the pain of this injury is and how messed up it is. Him and the doctors know that. But the rest is just speculation to me. And Black Daniel said in there, Lamar gets clicks. Yeah, and just backing up Jamil, what Jamil said. But yeah, man, it's just you just hold your breath. I wouldn't. What I'm saying is, Alec, I wouldn't completely rule out Lamar Jackson until he's ruled out, just because you see how damn competitive he is on the field, and you see how much loyalty means to Lamar Jackson. And I guarantee you, he feels a loyalty to those teammates, even if he doesn't have that reward from the organization. There's something about going to war with your boys, bro. That's all Lamar has known.
Man, it's just like Lamar in actual games. You could be down 14, 5 minutes ago. They don't even have the ball yet. And you're like, well, if they get the ball back and they do this, like you never lose faith that he can make something happen. And I think it's all the same with his injury, that he's going to try his best. And I just think too, man, like the contract thing, it kind of blows my mind, right? Like, I guess from a Ravens perspective, if you think like he even is remotely interested in being with the Ravens, like, and he wants to play, I think the Ravens are going to let him play, because like that would be kind of a difficult bridge, to get over, to be like, oh, we held you back from, showing what you could do or blah, blah, blah. Like, that could cause some bad blood. I don't know. It's a complicated situation. I think that he definitely is listening to the doctors and trying to do the best thing that he can for him. And I honestly think the team is in a tough spot too. Because like Jamil said, you don't want to see him get hurt and then compromise next year too. For one playoff game, it's going to be tough to win. For another playoff game, it's going to be tough to win. For another playoff game, it's going to be tough to win. And then another playoff game is going to be really tough to win. Back to back to back on a knee that's already not that great. So that's the hard part.
Yeah, Jamil, getting to what Coach DC is saying here, stability of the knee and testing, the balance first, and second, the jump movement, to strengthen it too. I'll add, Coach, and the ability to blend it and push off of it repeatedly. Yes, clearly his knee is not past the test. And Jamil, the word that we keep seeing popping up with different journalists is the swelling, is why I manage. Like, you can shoot that thing up, but unless you wear like some kind of compression, brace or something to keep that thing from swelling up mid-game. I mean, the game is 3 hours long, in real time. Like, that thing's, if it's swelling after a small workout, it's going to swell big time during a game. I can imagine it's going to be really, really tough for him to get through that, man, even with the pain. Aside from the pain, like Coach DC saying, his movement and the swelling of it, it's got to be frustrating as hell.
Yeah, and are you willing to risk this one game and turn this into a long-term issue where it doesn't even have to be that? I mean, I understand we want him to play. I want him to play. I get it, but you don't want to like push the issue or create an even bigger issue just because you feel like we have to go out here and win. And obviously you do, and you want to win, but you don't want to win at the expense of putting one of your players in harm's way. Your job is to, protect your players too, as well as coach them. Some players need to be saved from themselves. We all know Lamar is a competitor and he wants to play, but I wouldn't advise him to go out there and play if his knee is not 100%. And if that is what the case is, then with all due respect, I feel like we have to start doing what's best for the players, as well as wanting them to do and go out here and perform and help us win football games.
Yeah, and Coach D said something else in here. Bringing you up again, Coach. If there's a failure, that sets things back 3-4 days, not just one. Yeah, they have him go out and practice on this thing when it's not stable and it doesn't have the strength and it's not quite right. The ability to balance, as Coach said. It's not like it's okay. Well, we'll try again tomorrow. Dude, you just kind of re-injured, you set it back. You really set it back. So they're going to try to be careful with this thing. Alec, I want to get into the game itself, though, the strategies. How are the Ravens going to win this game, man? What do we have to do, assuming Lamar is not out there, and we have either Tyler Huntley or Anthony Brown? Let's start with the quarterbacks. Tyler Huntley, limited in his throwing today. He didn't throw in front of the media. He probably threw behind the media's back, as you mentioned earlier. Everybody's like, we didn't see him throwing. That's because that they don't want you to see that. Huntley has the itis in his shoulder, the old tendonitis. Huntley, Anthony Brown, how are you feeling? I see people out there that want Anthony Brown. He did throw for like 270 some yards against the Bengals. Who do you feel most comfortable with? Who gives us the best chance to win versus the Bengals?
Oh man, that's a $1 million question right there. I think that I like Brown. I do. I think that he really settled down the second half. I think he's just a better actual passer, and that's what this offense needs right now. Like I don't buy Huntley's athleticism. I think that when he runs the ball, it's just not that effective. I want to take those plays out of the playbook for like every single quarterback. I want it out of the playbook for like the current status of Lamar. I want it out of the playbook for Huntley. I want it out of the playbook for Brown. And I just want us to focus on our running backs who have running in their actual name. And like, that's what they do really well. And they're actually exceptional. And then get it to our wide receivers and tight ends that are pretty darn good at what they do too. Maybe not so much the wide receivers, but the tight ends, and like, just like focus on that. I think that's going to be the key. And one last thing too about Lamar, I want to just put out there. We were talking before we actually went live in the 7 minutes that will never see the light of day. How, like I said, I've never been more galvanized after a loss, at least in my recent memory and as far back as I can think about, as that loss last week. I think we saw all the pieces to assemble a winning strategy. similarly, I think like imagine Lamar comes in, he plays like 3.5 quarters or something. He gets hurt somehow, and he's already done enough that we're winning and like we're going to win the game. How would you feel in that that victory? I think it'd be kind of similar, the reverse, of like, yeah, we lost, but I feel good, and like, oh, we won, but I feel bad now because like I don't even know what's going to happen next year because we just wrecked it. So I think that's something to think about. I mean, there's always a chance of injury if a player plays, so like it might not even be because of that. It could be something completely different, but it's tough, man. It's super duper tough. These playoff games are hard. But to answer the original question, I think I want Anthony Brown. I know that's like controversial and not everyone's on the same page. I know some people are, and I think it's a really good conversation. I'd love to hear what the people in the chat think.
Jamil, what you think, man?
For me, I'm gonna go with Anthony Brown. I think the reason why, just the simple part of just getting the ball down the field. I remember when me and you, Jason, we were talking on a couple episodes back. You want to see them try. You was just saying that. I want to see Huntley try, at least try, push the ball down the field. And we still kind of seen a little hesitation. They try a little bit, but they don't really go fully through with, pushing that ball down the field. And you see Anthony Brown, he's dropping back, throwing it up to Sammy Watkins for however many yards that was. I can't remember, but he's doing these type of things. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like I don't want to say he gives us the best chance to win, because I feel like that would be kind of like disingenuous a little bit, just to put all of that on the kid. I just think I would prefer him in the game, just as far as, what this offense needs right now. Because like Alex said, we're not going out there winning with Tyler Huntley running the football. And we're not going out there with Tyler Huntley winning with Tyler Huntley throwing the football 5 to 10 yards, hoping we get down the field in field goal range and kicking field goals. I'd rather just go with Anthony Brown. He's the kid that's going to push the ball down the field, and that's just where I'm at with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure as well. It's a tough question for me too. You're right. I just want to see him try. I just want to see him try to push down the field. You can't just say like that one game we played where it was all we brought up Huntley's passing chart and everything was between 5 and 10 yards. Basically, you can't win a game like that. They eventually got an interception on us. They're going to get routes jumped. You might as well run the ball if that's what you're going to do. At least you got to. I mean, shoot. You're averaging 5-something yards per carry this year. You might as well just run the ball, beat them up physically, and make them defend that and make them tackle instead of all these 5-yard passes. So yeah, throw the ball downfield. What I was disappointed in with Anthony Brown though is that he stares people down.
Oh yeah,
pretty bad too, man. Like, geez, a whiz. I wanted to see Anthony Brown just look like a more polished passer out there than Huntley, and he really doesn't. He's just got more penchant to take chances, I guess. I'm trying to say it professionally. He's not afraid to take chances. So that's the main difference with Tyler Huntley. He is your typical backup quarterback where he's just going to take what's given, try not to make any mistakes. But yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, let's go ahead and look at this last graphic we have. The points with and without Lamar. Bro, not too many decimal points needed. With Lamar, an even 25 points. Without him, exactly half that, 12.5. You see the passing yards. And Alec, can you believe it, bro? 6 games without Lamar, we've thrown 2 touchdown passes. 2.
I can't believe it, dude. I watched them. Like, it's so painful. like the thing that kills me, man, is like I said it on one of our shows, and I think it's so true. Like, we were talking about with Denver, the defense was so good. If they could have just scored 18 points, they would have had like 1 loss in the year or something, or like 2 losses or something when they were on that huge streak of losses. And we're the same darn thing. Like, if we could just score 20 points, we would be winning every matchup. But we can't even do that. And like in today's NFL, it's so painful. And you know what the worst part is too? Like, we've been in the red zone enough. We've been knocking on the door enough, and you take 3 instead of 7, and it's just so painful. And I think, like, to get another controversial topic, I really didn't like the play calling to be like, we're going to go for it early in the game, but then late in the game, we're not going to go for it, and we're just going to kick the field goal. I'm like, that's not how this works. You got to just keep going for it. Like, I just didn't like that at all. It made me really disappointed.
Jamil, it's a damn shame, man. We can't get over something team points with the way this defense is playing. I mean, remember the good old days, Jamil, when we were complaining about Greg Roman the play calling, and we were still scoring 25 points a game, mainly because of Lamar making plays even without these receivers. Like, man, with this defense, if you could tell me we was going to score 25 points a game, I'd say, you know what, Ravens got a pretty good chance of holding the Bengals down like we have twice already.
Yeah, it makes you appreciate Lamar as a quarterback a little bit. I would say a lot more for those who don't really appreciate him as much as I feel like they should. When you look at graphics like this and you think you could just, oh man, just plug in another quarterback who can run, and this is what you get: 12.4, 12.5 points a game, and 152 passing yards and just 2 touchdowns. So I mean, you just got to appreciate it a little bit more, man. He elevates the scheme is a little bit more. He makes it better. He's the engine. You know what I'm saying? So it's a shame. It's a shame. 12 points. It's definitely a shame. And I don't think that's a winning formula. I think we're setting the defense up, and people are going to say, well, the defense have all the resources. Okay. So that means the offense just not supposed to do anything. I'm okay with that. I'm not buying into that. And I think it's a shame. I do.
Yeah. I just, I'm going back to my original emotion. Nobody expects us to win this game. And we're going to be probably close to double-digit favorites by the time Sunday rolls around if Lamar is ruled out. And, I just want to see a physical game. I think the Ravens want to play a physical game with Cincinnati. And we've kind of gotten a good start by getting in their head. And I feel like the Ravens, is Cincy in our head? Are we in their head? The fact of the matter is, you look at Cincy winning their last 8 games or whatever it was, being on such a roll, the Ravens being down and out and, down in the quarterback room and all the stuff we've gone through, we just saw with the points. The last thing you want to do in that situation is poke the bear. Like if you're Cincinnati and you're on cruise control and you got this beautiful looking offense, the last thing you want to do is start bad blood with a team that's back against the wall, wounded, upset, mad, and it's got some real dogs on that defense. And, I'm expecting coming out Sunday, win or lose, that first quarter, especially the first half, things are going to, I think, Alec, you mentioned you take a little 15-yard penalty early in the game. Knock this. Sometimes in games like that, something like that can pay off. I'm just saying, it's not going to be easy against us, physically easy. You might be up on the scoreboard at the end of the game, but you done poked the bear of a proud franchise, a lot of proud veterans, some tough football players. Cincinnati is going to feel it. T. Higgins felt it, man. I think he was limited in practice today, but he got a shot in his ribs, man, that didn't look like it felt very good. They had something, the Bengals fans had something to say with that. The thing that rubbed me the wrong way, though, is was the coin flip celebration. Now, you just had on your field on Monday night a tragic situation, could have been a deadly situation. The man was literally lifeless on the field without a pulse, not breathing for 8 minutes, okay? You guys had to cancel the game, okay? Everybody on the planet Earth was like, man, prayers for Damar Hamlin. He's made this miraculous recovery, which is just awesome. I can't wait to see Damar Hamlin in public speaking or giving a message, man. It's just going to be so good to see because it was a horrific scene on Monday Night Football in a huge game. Okay, so they went from prayers to Damar to being truly, truly salty about the situation and how it was handled. Y'all the ones that walked off the field, if we want to be real cold-hearted about it. Y'all didn't finish the game against a team with a better record than you in the Buffalo Bills. You all could have been playing Sunday for the division, win or lose. You could have lost the division Sunday, is what I'm saying. Yeah. If things would have went the Ravens' way and you lost that game Monday night. Now all of a sudden you're so salty about a man literally dying on the field and being brought back to life that you're going to do a coin flip situation, a coin flip celebration. Eli Apple's going to have a big coin with Goodell with a clown. I'm not a big fan of Roger Goodell. But the way the Bengals handled that came off as kind of classless to me in a situation where everybody was trying to beat a bigger person, have their thoughts with Damar. Hey, look, we got to beat Anthony Brown to win the division. Most people would say, no problem. If we're good enough, we're going to beat Anthony Brown. Look, the Ravens are resting all their starters. You know what I mean? For them to come out and act like they were the victim in this situation, flat out just pissed me off, Alec. Pissed me off, bro. And that's why I'm not a fan of the Bengals, including Jamar Chase and all these players that I respect as people. If y'all just keep bitching like a whiny little girl about this, it's not something I took really kindly to, man. The man almost died on the field.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for him whatsoever. There was a part of me last year watching their ride, and I was like, despite the fact that, I didn't like the way things went down with us with them, and just the fact that, the way that they kind of treated us in various games, I was like, you know what, their franchise hadn't had anything for a long time. This is kind of a cool story. Like, good for them, good for their fans. Like, I met a couple of their fans, are good people or whatever, and then all this happened, and I'm just like, I want to smack your mouth so damn bad. Like, I'm like, I want to put you in your place. And I think it was that coin flip celebration, man. You're up 10. I know it's only the first quarter, but like, I'm just like, really? I think at that moment, that's, I think, when the game flipped the switch a little bit as far as how our defense was playing, because I think, we kind of waved the white towel. We didn't play our starters on offense. We were playing our starters on defense a little bit. I think that was to get a feel, because they knew that that defense had to do it. But they were like on super try hard mode. I mean, I understand they could have held some stuff back, but they definitely seemed to be a little bit on the try hard. They had everybody out there. They got an injury out of it. The right side of their line's in shambles. And I'm like, I think that's when the tone shifted. You saw that big hit by Chuck Clark. You saw Roquan, bump into Chase in the end zone that one time. And I just think, I'm telling you, man, there's nothing more, I think, than if the Ravens don't win this game, they're going to win the war. And that war is to defeat Cincinnati in the long run. I think they're going to ice up, and it's not going to be enough time. They're going to go to Buffalo probably. The way everything shakes out, they'll probably go to Buffalo if Buffalo wins. And I think Buffalo is going to be like, yeah, no, you're not gonna pass us this time. Not at home. It's just I think that's their fate. And we got nothing to lose. That's the beautiful thing. We're the wild card. We don't have our starting quarterback. No one believes in us. People believe in you. They put you in the same ranks as the Bills and the Chiefs, man. You were in the Super Bowl last year. Oh, you have so much to lose. And they're gonna lose it. I'm pretty sure of it.
Jamila, you can tell, man, like, I'm genuinely upset about this. Like, you've talked to me on the phone enough times that, if I was speaking to you about this on the phone, some other words would come out in my mouth. I'm just not happy about it, man. Like I said, man, dude almost died on the field. Y'all walked away from a game that, if you lost, would have put you in a position to lose the division the next week. And understandably so. Like, I don't think they should have resumed that game at all. But then for you to come back and complain about it during the week and have people called on tape, sound bites when you're interviewing other people complaining about it, to have us to go premeditated style with a sign, with a coin, to do the coin flip situation. It just, to me, it minimized what happened to Damar Hamlin, and they turned themselves into the victims, when it didn't exactly help the Ravens, by the way, either. Just rubbed me the wrong way as a human being, Jamil.
Yeah, man. Humanity, people forget it sometimes. Humility, people forget it in a lot of situations, and this just was one of those situations. I guess because people just and people on Twitter, they're like, hey, it's football. You see stuff like that, it just make you feel like, man, you guys just, these players aren't people to you. They're just entertainers. They're just, once they put a helmet on, they're entertainers. And that's why you can call people Twitter warriors or whatever you want to call them, because they are defending Damar in this situation, or the Buffalo Bills, because they feel as though you have some people who believe, and they have hearts. Humility is important. I'm not going to put football on a pedestal over a man's life. I'm just not going to do that. And it's important to me, and I'm happy that Damar Hamlin is, alive and well, and he's happy and he's in good spirits. That's what's mostly important. Football can wait. That's just how I feel about it. For the Bengals, they're going to be the Bengals. They're going to do what they do. I'm also not guaranteeing them to win this Sunday, just because we don't have a starting quarterback. They struggled to beat us this Sunday with their starters. So I'm not, and we was missing some guys out there on defense and offense. So I'm not going to just give them the win. It's not a guarantee that they're going to, I don't care what their odds are. They could lose. So
for sure,
I hope all of this that they have been doing is, is going to, I'm not going to say I hope it works out for them, because I hope they do lose. But with all the stuff that they've been saying and all the banter and all of that stuff,
It
If
better
they
work.
lose,
It better work out for them.
it better work out for them. That's all I'm gonna say. It better go exactly how they wanted to go, because they will be clowned for a very long time if they do not win this game Sunday. They will be clowned.
Deservedly so, man. Deservedly so. Like I said, if you're winning a fight, the last thing you want to do is get personal. You got the advantage. The last thing you want to do is get personal. You just keep winning. And I don't have no problem with anybody celebrating. Celebrate away. Like I said, I think I'm being myself clear about why I was upset about that. That just kind of showed me like a little class in a situation. Like it's something happens at work and somebody's in danger and you have to work an extra that day. You don't complain about it. You just say, something serious happened. I'm just going to have to take it on the chin. There's really nothing else we can do about it. Just seeing the Bengals handle that player. The Twitter people don't bother me. You're always going to have them fools. There's always going to be somebody trying to get attention. But the Bengals themselves, that's what kind of got me fired up. So yeah, the Bengals, as far as their offense, though, we've seen them struggle against the Ravens. You got to remember the Ravens turned the ball over 4 times. One of them was Sammy Watkins' fumble. There's 2 interceptions, and of course, Anthony Brown got strip sacked in the end zone. The Bengals fell on it for a touchdown. It was still only an 11-point game. We were actually in a position with 4 minutes or so, 5 minutes to drive down the field and make it a 1-possession game. Did not happen, but it was a very, very competitive game, Alec. As far as look, the Bengals jumped out. We turned the ball over. We gave them a bunch of points. After that, it just turned into kind of a street fight. And the Ravens, I think, acquitted themselves well, even though they were resting guys.
Yeah, I think I did a little math right there, and I looked at the Vegas lines, and it's basically saying right now it moves a little bit. The over under is down to 40.5, and now the spread is 8.5. So that it was at 7.5 earlier at different points. So, anyways, they're basically saying the Ravens have if you look at the money line, a 22% chance of winning right now, and I think that's like decent. But I've seen crazier things happen, like with lesser odds. So I think you got to just say to yourself, all right, like, how can we play this best game going forward? How can we minimize our mistakes and maximize theirs? I think that wins this football game. We got enough playmakers on both sides, even without Lamar, even with the backup undrafted quarterback, to be able to pull something off here. So totally, man. You sat players on both sides. You're not full strength. They're not going to be at full strength either. They're in worse shape than they were last week, and I think we'll be in better shape than we were last week. So, and that game could have been a 1-point game, man. We fumbled the ball in the end zone and gave you a freebie touchdown. I understand you did work to get us in that field position, but still, like, we made some pretty egregious mistakes deep in your own territory. So, yeah, man, I think we might be all right.
Yeah, we held them down, I think, like 5 of 15 on third downs, Jamil. We got them off the field in some crucial situations. Joe Burrow trying to throw to Chase and Higgins and all the Bengals starters. They're starting O-line, mixing, and we have Peters out there. I agree with what Alex saying. We're going to have a better team on the field for us compared to the guys we threw out there last week. No J.K. Dobbins. He makes a big difference. They might be down a couple of guys from what they threw out. So it was kind of a costly win for Cincinnati if they're going to miss their right guard for the playoffs. That's a huge blow because Alex Kappa, their right guard, was one of the best in the league.
And that's the guy that they brought in from free agency. They spent money on him to improve that offensive line. So that's going to be a big hit, along with Leo Collins that they're not going to have at right tackle. He's out for the season, obviously. That's why I think, like I said, man, I think this is going to be a really tough game. Our defensive line is mean, tough, and they are going to push the pocket. They are going to do it, and I think their offensive line is going to struggle. I think this game is going to be a lot tougher than maybe a lot of people think, even Ravens fans. I think it's going to be a lot closer. I don't think whoever the starting quarterback is going into this game, whether it's Brown or Huntley, I don't think you're going to see as many turnovers as that you saw, or freebies, because we were giving them, good field position with turnovers. I don't think you're going to see as many freebies. You're going to see them, having to methodically drive down the field, and I think it's going to be tough for them to do that.
And that'd be the argument for Huntley. You know what I mean? Just don't F it up. Don't turn the ball over. Mm-hmm. It's a really tough, decision. I think, knowing Harbaugh, he'll go with the status quo. And, Huntley's ahead of him on the depth chart. If Tyler's able to play, it's going to be Tyler Huntley. That's kind of the hardball I've come to expect. So who knows? But maybe they start Tyler, and if they're down and they want to go bombs away, they bring in Anthony Brown to sling the ball 50 times because Tyler's shoulder's sore. They have some built-in excuses there. So it'd be interesting to see how they handle that. But I'm looking at key matchups, guys. I didn't prep you for this, so hopefully we can go on the fly. You can comment on mine and agree or disagree. But for me, I think Justin Madubuike, Calais Campbell, whoever's lined up over right guard. It's a lot of Madubuike. Broderick Washington will be given that role a lot as well. But just to dominate their backups, right tackle, right guard. I would like to see Justin Houston lined up over the right tackle instead of lined up at that rush end over the left tackle to try to get matchups. I want a good pass rusher, 2 good pass rushers on that right side, maybe running some twists and stunts. That's where we have to get to Burrow. And then I would have like a Patrick Queen, since he's going to be on the field 100% of the time, to be ready to flow on that right edge. So if they flush Burrow out to his right, he's got somebody sitting there, maybe almost like a spy type. You sit in the middle zone or whatever, but keep an eye on Burrow rolling out and try to get a beat on him. So I'm looking at this defensive line versus the Cincinnati offensive line. We've handled Jonah Williams, their left tackle, pretty well already. Left guard is not a strong spot. They've got a good center. Their best line, Alex Kappa, lineman, the right guard, Alex Kappa, not playing in this game would be huge. So, Alec, kicking it to you, buddy. That is my key to the game. We're going to have to get pressure on Burrow, hit him, turn him over by getting pressure off that right side.
I hope David Ajabo is part of that formula. His performance has my attention. And I know there's a lot of players that we're talking about need to be activated. And I could see a way that he gets squeezed, but after seeing how he played, I really don't see how way that you can squeeze him. You got to find another way to get that man on the field. I'll take one less wide receiver. I really would. I mean, you only put 1 or 2 of them out there anytime anyway. So seriously, shoot, dude, they got to figure out a way to have him activated. They really, really, really do. My key to the game, I'm going to stick to the defense. I want our ball hawks, and I'm specific. I'm not even talking about Peters and Marlowe on the outside. I'm talking about kind of the freestylers in the middle. I'm talking about Hamilton. I'm talking about Marcus Williams. I'm talking about Roquan. We got to get something out of them. They need a turnover. They need to make these big plays, and I just think they're so talented. I mean, those 3 names are so talented, man. Any team would love to have them, would find a way to use them. So I think that those guys have to have a big game, and I think that their coverage abilities, even they actually play really great in run defense too, but their coverage abilities, I think, will be the key to making sure that our corners, whoever lines up, whoever they're lined up against, those guys stay silent.
And I agree. Sorry about that. Thought you were gonna bring me in, but it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I agree with you, Jason. I think my key matchup is that defensive line against their offensive line. I think that's where it's going to start, right there up front. They're missing some key guys. One key guy, like we say, Alex Kappa, that's the main cog, and I think that is going to be the tail of the game. How much pressure we can get on Joe Burrow, how much we can fluster him in that pocket, maybe get him to throw, a couple of turnovers to your guys, Alec, maybe Kyle Hamilton, Marcus Williams. Maybe Kyle Hamilton gets his first interception in his rookie season in a big game, right? We would love that. I would love that. So I think, it all go hand in hand. So, Jason, what me and you are saying, it kind of goes hand in hand with, helping that the middle of the field, that secondary, or the linebackers, rather, get their hands on a couple of footballs, a couple of turnovers, maybe 1 or 2. Maybe another forced fumble by David Ajabo or something like that.
There you go, guys. So, Friday evening, 7:30, we're going to try to come back on Ashley. I'm going to try to get some of the guys in there. I saw Black Daniel seen you give me a thumbs up. I would DM you guys some links. Maybe we can get Coach DC on here, have a little bit of a looser discussion and, just talk some ball before the game as we get fired up. So, looking forward to having you guys for that. We'll have some more thoughts. So want to just say thank you to our football family, man. Wrapping it up. Went over hour 15 here tonight. Sorry again for messing up the beginning there. Jameel said it was his fault. It was all me. It's all me. I did make these good looking like graphics though, man. You know what I mean? So that was pretty good. That was pretty good. So but yeah, just wanted to say thank you to our football family. Love our football family. Love everybody in the comments. Thank you guys and gals for participating. Really appreciate it. All right, fellas, say goodbye to people. I'll remember to hit end broadcast. All right.
Good night, everybody. See you Friday.